moving numbers and the figures. To give you some thought on that, I'm going to bring in Dr. Randy Short, I should say. He is with African Orthodox Church, joining us via Skype out of Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, Dr. Short, for joining Press TV. I wonder how you react to this news.
Ordinary. It's quite consistent with many health disparities. This is normal. And it's not just childbirth. We have a serious problem. And let me give you an example, and I'll go very quickly. We have Social Security in this country, which is supposed to take care of people when they're old and in their latter years. Most people are not aware that the United States government literally was prepared not to have Social Security at all because Southern senators and congressmen were opposed to black domestics who often raise white children and black field workers getting any compensation, meaning they were prepared to allow the majority population of whites to live in complete abject poverty because they wanted to deny health and welfare benefits to blacks. So when you have a society where there is systemic, structural, and horizontal violence against people since the inception of the British colonization, subsequently the American Republic, then you have this as a consistent trait. Disparities in causes of death, high death rates. This has always been part of the Anglo-American experience, and that's been very harmful for what I would call the Afro-Aboriginal, in as much as the same health disparities you would find among Native Americans or Aboriginal Americans, which, again, this is never discussed. 80 to 90% of what you call black people are a mixture of the Aboriginal populations that were here and Africans that were brought over, which I am both.
Okay, and of course, I would imagine, since you said that this is nothing out of the ordinary for you and no revelation whatsoever, then could you walk us through what are the root causes of these figures and numbers and the lack of care that you refer to?
Well, for the lack of care, let's start. If you have slavery, segregation, forced assimilation, you name it, you hate a population, then it shows. You can't take people's labor for hundreds of years and like them. You can't have them be disproportionately killed by police, mass incarcerated. These are all systems of controlling. Presently, maybe 75 million people. There's no other Western country that has a population like this, what I would call Afro-Aboriginal population that's in the tens and tens of millions of people who were conquered, colonized, enslaved, whatever. And there has not been the political, social, or cultural will by the majority, or at least by the elite in control, to fix this problem. They're quite comfortable. And going back to Charles Darwin and the concept of social Darwinism, where the strong survive, there is a system in place to make certain that certain people die in disproportionate numbers. That includes abortion, where maybe 6 out of 10 black babies conceived are aborted. Someone does not want a certain population to grow for fear if the population of these people who've been abused got too large, what goes around comes around. They would be on the receiving end of what they've meted out to black and Aboriginal or Native American black mixed people here. So that's what you have. Black people, it goes even worse. They have systematically undermined the American Medical Association and others, have undermined the existence of black hospitals, blacks going into medicine for well over 100 years. Black people used to have hospitals more. If you look throughout the country, the health system that blacks did have, it was never perfect, has been systematically destroyed because in capitalism, they not only want your subordinate, they want other money too.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Randy Short with African Orthodox Church out of Washington, D.C.